Britain's most important unsolved cases. Now live, you can help solve them.
The homemade bomb that exploded in South London on Saturday seems to have been an act of lunacy. It wasn't the IRA, and though an anonymous phone call claimed it was a tiny fascist group, there's no evidence for that. And in any case, who would want to hurt, young and old, even this baby? Black and white, shoppers and market traders. Anyone, in fact, with the randomness of an exploding bag of nails. But tonight, you can help, and this is how. This is the quantity of nails packed around the explosives. There are between 6 and 10 pounds in weight here, and believe me, that's a fairly hefty bulk of nails. They're all round nails, and they range from this size to this. Now, who bought them? If you work in a hardware merchant's or in a DIY store, think back over the last few weeks. Who bought this lot? Who isn't a regular customer, isn't a regular builder? Who came in for this sort of quantity of nails? Or alternatively, did you sell a bag like this? Now, I know these things are fairly common, but this one is fairly new. And see if you can connect this and selling this to something else that we're about to tell you. Alan Fry is head of the anti-terrorist branch. Alan, a lot of publicity you've had for this already. And what more can people do?
Police are anxious to talk to anybody who was in the Brixton Road, by the bus stops, by Electric Avenue, at about 5 o'clock last Saturday. Whether they were just walking past, shopping, standing waiting for a bus, or even on a bus.
That could be thousands of people, literally.
I appreciate that, but any one of them, maybe unwittingly, has the vital key to this investigation.
Even if they don't think they saw anything particularly?
Yes, let us be the decider.
OK, now, if this was a small extremist group, by their nature, these little bands of people tend to have an awful lot of leaks, as it were. An awful lot of people tend to hear what's going on.
Yes, and almost certainly someone's heard them planning, someone's been party to that planning. They may have disagreed with the plan. This may be a renegade. What I would ask is for anyone in that position with any knowledge to talk to us in confidence.
Of course, what seems quite likely in this is it's a loner with a grudge.
Well, it could be a loner, it could be someone, have you seen someone acting suspiciously, out of character? Indeed, do you know of someone who has purchased a large number of nails? They may have been seen with a sports bag, which itself is out of character. More importantly, do you know someone who has literature on the making of bombs? Have they boasted about making bombs? Do they experiment with explosives?
Do you think whoever did this will have tried to detonate something like it before?
I think that is certain.
OK. Well, if there's any way that you think you can help, please, please do. There's a £10,000 reward. That may go up. Please call us 0500 600 600. That's a free call live here to detectives in the studio. And there's a free phone number 0800 789 321, which goes to the anti-terrorist branch at Scotland Yard. That's on 0800 789 321.
And now to the murder of a tourist. Maria Wodianski from Stockholm had been in London for less than 2 hours before she was killed in an arbitrary robbery. This is an appeal to the killer himself, to his friends and relatives, and to a London cabbie who couldn't possibly have realised what his passenger had done.
We will soon be arriving at Paddington Station, which is an excellent gateway to London. We hope you've enjoyed your journey with us on Heathrow Express today. Thanks for travelling with us this afternoon, and we wish you a safe and pleasant onward journey. Welcome to London.
I wish we could take the train straight to the apartment. Hey, Andre.
And then a number 10 to the flat. And according to the guidance, we'll be passing the Albert Memorial on the way.
Who's Albert? Someone who never had to shoot back up the platform.
The family was staying near the Royal Albert Hall, and having taken a bus to Kensington Church Street, they walked into Kensington High Street to catch a number 10 towards Knightsbridge.
When the family got on, they were holding the whole bus up with an enormous amount of luggage. And the bus conductress got very upset.
Fred, I'm going to have to ask you to put those in the luggage rack so you'll cause an obstruction.
Well, we're only going a couple of stops.
Doesn't really matter, I'm afraid.
I knew you had bought too many things.
I'm nearly there, don't worry.
Shall I take this?
If you don't mind.
I do distinctly remember seeing him and saying, well, that's an extraordinary handsome chap. He had close-cropped Afro-type hair and a fairly tanned, dark skin. He had this sort of aquiline features. He was just staring straight ahead of himself. He didn't look at anybody in the eyes.
Hey, Andre, look! Over there, see? The memorial, that's Albert's.
Just after the Albert Memorial, at the junction with Exhibition Road, with the conductor upstairs, an attempted handbag snatch.
Her head went the most awful crack on the road.
Did you see what that man just did?
I jumped off. A van came along. And I thought, my God, he's going to hit her. I could see him running across the road. And I thought, well, if I can get round the corner, he can't go running at that speed indefinitely. And maybe I can keep this up for a bit longer. There were two people there standing on the corner. And they said, are you chasing somebody? I said, yes. Where is he? Oh, he's getting into that taxi.
5:25, Saturday the 27th of March. Who picked up this fare, now heading south down Exhibition Road?
He was tall. I should think he was over 6 feet. He was slender. He had a sort of broad forehead and fairly high cheekbones and an aquiline nose.
Well, David Shipley, a tragic situation. Now, this was a busy Saturday afternoon in central London, lots of shoppers and tourists obviously around. Do you believe that all the witnesses you need have come forward? You probably don't.
No, I don't, actually. I do know that the number 10 bus that afternoon was extremely busy, very full of people, and only a few people have come forward so far. I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to passengers on the bus that day to either contact the studio here this evening or the incident room at Paddington Green Police Station.
Right, now, what would people have noticed about this man who committed this awful attack?
Well, we're not entirely sure where he actually got onto the bus, but we think it may have been outside the Royal Garden Hotel in Kensington Road. What we do know is that he travelled standing or sitting next to the victim on the lower deck of the bus when it travelled east along Kensington Road. He's a light-skinned black man, possibly of mixed race, maybe North African extraction. He's about 6 foot in height and slim build, aged about 30 perhaps to 35 years of age. He had very close cropped black hair. He was smartly dressed according to witnesses, possibly in brown clothing, maybe even a suit. And what may be significant is that on the right side of his face there may be a mole or a skin growth to the right of his right eye.
That's a very distinctive description, and as we heard from one witness, he was a good-looking man.
Apparently he was.
Now, when he ran away from the incident, remind us of the route that he took.
Yes, he jumped off the bus and ran back along Kensington Road. He was chased by a passenger from the bus. He was seen to turn left into Exhibition Road. He passed two members of the public on the pavement, two men in their 40s, Mediterranean appearance, who saw him apparently get into a black taxi cab in Exhibition Road, which then drove south towards Cromwell Road.
So crucially, those three witnesses are very essential to trace, aren't they? Those two men that were standing on the corner of the road. Yes. You haven't managed to track them down yet. And essentially the black cabbie, because he would know where he'd taken the chap.
He would. The black cabbie is of vital importance to us. I'm positive he can further our investigation.
So, bearing in mind maybe a memory jogger, England were playing